Kathy, author Robert Fritz draws a distinction between problem solving and creating. And he says problem solving is getting rid of something we don't want, where creating is bringing something into being that we do want. And it seems to me your ABT rules on, or advice on impact is a bit like that. Could you speak to impact?
You know, oftentimes we think of impact conventionally in terms of what impact am I making that's measurable? How is it that I can meet some external standards? So obviously I'm in business, we have metrics, right? Where for quality and for quantity and for revenue, and in our home life, you know, we have metrics, the kids are on schedule, you know, things are really working to the best advantage
Report
here.
cards look the way they should.
Report cards, oh my gosh, that's an external standard. I often think about a real distinction between an asset-based approach and a deficit-based approach when we're looking at the report card from our kids or the metrics in our business. What do we look for first? Turns out we're looking for that low grade. We're looking for that thing that is not up to par in terms of where we thought we'd be in our plan, in our projection. And although that's natural, we don't want it to blind our viewpoint on what are the external signals of success here. You know, where are the A's and B's? Where are we on target? Where are the green dots, right? That really tell us things are working well in certain situations. So that's an external standard. And earlier today we talked about mighty cause, we talked about purpose and passion, and the idea is we need internal sets of standards also, not just external. So although the external signs might be good or bad, our internal Geiger counter can tell us a lot also about what impact is this having on my life. So oftentimes people see external rewards and results, and internally, you know, it's killing them. Mm-hmm. You know, I call it the empty suit syndrome. You know, people show up, but there's nobody home. And so you have to rectify that in order to get internal and external standards to really reinforce one another. And I think internal standards can help you really, when you're in this problem-solving mode that Fritz talks about, you can very easily go from just reacting the fix to broadening your point of view. How can we turn this into the best problem we've ever had? The last time I asked that question to a team that had a real setback, they said, you know, sometimes after we do the fix, we look at what were the ancillary gains, but we never ask ourselves that question when we're in the middle of trying to fix something, we're just fixing it. So when you ask that question early, how can we turn this into the best problem we've ever had? It makes you really stop and think, oh, how could we become a more solidified team? We're in the lifeboat together.
One of the things I'm thinking about are young families who have kids that participate in team sports, and how on the weekends those sporting activities and the practices can really take over the family's agenda. And what I'm hearing you say is certainly a solution would be is we're going to have to cut back, but that doesn't seem necessarily healthy, particularly if the kids are really engaged in this program. What I'm hearing you say is approach it, how can we make this really fun, or how can we make this an experience that the whole family can enjoy, even though we know for this period of time it's going to require a lot from us all to be able to make the games and be at all the different activities.
I think what you're talking about there is a moment in time, right? So it's the summer or it's soccer season, and it's really a dedication. It's out of dedication, either to the sport itself or to my kids being able to participate or to my parenting, that I'm there, the whole family is there to root for this one member of the family. So in and of itself, it's out of dedication and devotion, and it has some ancillary downsides. So what do I do to make sure that that devotion, that dedication, doesn't get so focused that we're not paying attention to our other kids, to the fact that there are other parents there, to the fact that we don't have to be talking sports every minute when we're in the stands. We can talk about something different on the way to the game, on the way home from the game. We can look at, sure, do we want to really cut back and we're only now on 2 teams rather than 5 teams? That's always a good thing to focus on, but there's such a suite of assets around that one really important goal, hobby, avocation. There's a suite of assets that have to do with other people, that have to do with that time that's spent where we're not so task-oriented. So I really like your idea of saying, let's look at the network of people. In business, we often call it stakeholders, but the network of people who are involved here, other children, other parents, the community, the person behind the concession stand, and let's intentionally make this more than what it looks like on the surface.